1, 2, 1, 2. Howdy, friends and neighbors. Looks like there's a bunch of you in here, and we're getting ready. We'll blast off here in a second. Want to say congratulations. Apologies for the backdrop. Working on the studio here over this weekend. We're going to see some changes to the channel, both the channels here in the next little bit. But today is about your Kansas City Chiefs. The up, the down, the heartbreak, the recovery. There's so much there. So today's show, I'm going to go through my notes. For those of you that are new around here, make sure you hit the subscription, hit the notification bell so you see when something new goes up. Leave your comment in the chat, or if you're watching this on replay, leave it there later in the comments. Leave a thumbs up if you like this particular show. I'm Ryan, your host of RGR Football, and I'm also the host of Locked On Chiefs podcast. We'll have one of those out here in another hour or so. So bear with us. We're trying to get it all done all at once, and there's a lot to talk about. This team just wanted to take you for a ride, I'm pretty sure, because they had me to the point where I was frustrated. And I don't get that riled up at games, to tell you the truth. So nice to see all the friendly faces. I do see a ton of you guys. So just as a reminder, if you aren't a regular around here, I'll do my Q&A tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Central, a couple minutes after 7:05 Central. And that's where you guys come in, and I'll just answer your questions all day. Today, I'm going to go over my notes, and I do keep a ton of copious notes. I'm not going to use the cuss words that are in here from this one because there are a lot. But that's what I do post-game, is just go through what I saw and kind of update you guys, and we all get on the same page. Eric Peregrine, thank you. And I did get your email. I will try to catch up with you here this week. Excuse me, folks. There was some shouting earlier, so I'm a little coffee, and I don't have any beers yet, so we'll get to that in a bit. I don't know how it could have started. Dylan Kruckman, thanks for yours as well. Just saw yours too. Folks, super chat and super stickers, feel free. I'm not taking questions today, so you don't feel like you need to. If you do, try and ask me a question tomorrow night, and we'll do that one. But if you want to support the channel, feel free. The shirts are still out there. You can see those at the bottom of the screen on this and all that kind of stuff. So there are definitely ways to support the channel. And some of the stuff that's going on in the background, new lighting and that kind of stuff, is all because of you. So thank you. But big thing. Oh, good. Aaron Morrow's here too. Everybody give a hand for our fabulous mod, Aaron Morrow, taking care of business. And I'll catch up with you this week too, Aaron. Just so much going on in this game. So many things. 4 drops in the first quarter. Multiple special teams problems that led to points. Honestly, I can't really blame the defense for getting in a hole that bad, because it wasn't necessarily the defense. Yes, there was that one broken coverage, and that definitely was on the defense. Quite frankly, it was on Travarius Ward. You guys have heard me talk about him. And what I saw during the game on Twitter was a little concerning to me. So I want to say this right off the bat. Travarius Ward is a good corner. This didn't change anything. His play today wasn't like undoing everything that he's done. He's made great progress this season. He is getting better. He will continue to get better. He's just not as good as a lot of people had seen lately because of the competition. This was an all-pro receiver in Nuke Hopkins that he was going against. It was a very, very dynamic receiver in Fuller that he was going against. So we got to take the good with the bad. This was not just like throw out everything you've seen from Ward. He had a bad day, but it does illustrate what I've said pretty much all along, that he's not ready to be a number one. A number one takes away the best wide receiver on the other team. He's not there yet. That's okay. He's good, and he's going to continue to get better. So for those of you that might feel a little bit betrayed like that, or feel like he's not what you thought, he will be. It was just that he was playing really well against some lower competition. Now when he saw some really great competition, it kind of evens out. That happens. Not the biggest deal. So, but that particular play was a busted coverage on him that led to the Fuller thing. So, but that's one play. I don't feel like the defense gave it up and down the field. They did give one up there late when the game had pretty much been put away, and that was legit. The Texans actually drove on them. That was for real. So there's a little bit of concern there, but I still feel like the defense gave up at most 21 points today. So I can't say – I won't even blame them for that 6-yard drive because the ball was turned over so close to the end zone. There's literally nothing they can do at that point. Between throwing slants to Hopkins, running with Hyde, or optioning with Watkins, there was just no way from the 6-yard line that they were really going to be able to stop this. So I can't blame them for that. So I felt like the defense played well. I thought the linebackers in particular played well. You saw Hitch early. You saw Ragland down the stretch. You saw Damien Wilson a little bit in between. Really interesting. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Ryan Tracy NFL. If you didn't see any of those tweets, really interesting to see that Dorian O'Daniel hasn't been used all season long. And then today, he's the shadow on Watson. I thought that was really well done by Spags and his staff, Matt House as well, to take advantage of what Dorian O'Daniel is, a very, very athletic guy. In fact, all of you that have read Danilo's piece on Isaiah Simmons, I think that's his name, out of Clemson. Danilo, if you're in the chat, let us know if that's it, or it's over on Chiefs Wire. Very similar position to what Dorian O'Daniel did in college, that safety linebacker hybrid. And so DOD's undersized to be a traditional linebacker role. And we've seen that that's what Spags wants to do. He wants bigger defensive end. He likes the bigger linebacker. He likes Reggie. Reggie's really grown in his role. And for a guy that everyone wrote off as a total failure because he came into the league into Buffalo and didn't do very well transitioning to the 4-3. I completely admit that. He did really well playing 4-3 today, and he's come a long way. Those two guys I felt like got some redemption today. I think that's a big credit to Steve Spagnuolo and Matt House and what they've done this season. Is there still room to grow? Yes. Nihilist, if you don't want to listen to me talk, you don't have to be here. Not a problem. All of that aside, and maybe this will appease some of the Texans fans, I thought they played a pretty good game. I felt like they moved the ball when they needed to. I felt like they did apply some pressure. I felt like, honestly, Lonnie Johnson played pretty well against Travis. Yeah, he got a lot of penalties, but I thought he was physical with him. I thought he did what you needed to do. So give the Texans a little bit of credit. And I will say this, and I see you guys bringing it up. I'm getting to it. I promise. This was maybe the best game I've seen Dan Sorensen play. I shouted him out on Twitter. I give him all the credit in the world. He made some big plays today, and he made them in ways that I didn't expect. It wasn't when he was up in the box playing defense. I mean, two of them were huge on special teams that really made those plays. Sniffing out that fake punt was beautiful, and that was, again, the evolution of a guy who's been on this roster a long time and understands and has done his film study. Stack, I have to. I am first to admit, when I'm wrong about a guy, I'm wrong about a guy. Now, I don't think that him playing deep half, which I saw some too, I didn't like that at all. But it didn't hurt them. It could have, but whatever happened, it didn't get taken advantage of, and I'm more powerful for that. But give Dan credit, and I certainly do, for his play today. He's in my notes a couple of times, and as I go through here, there's still a problem with the punt protection. It looked to me like it came through the B gap again, which is something that Dave Toub's got to get figured out, and I'm not sure who that is. I will take a look at that this time. So it's just what it is. Let's see here. They did try the fullback a little bit. They didn't have a whole lot of success, but they went back to the pitch game late, and I think the pitch game really came through, especially with Damien. And I thought Damien looked to me today like Damien looked last season in the playoffs, and that's a really, really good thing. Excuse me, I have to cough. Apologies, friends. Live TV will do that. So I think all in all, it came around, and it came to be all those things that Damien missed some time, either voluntarily or he just wasn't fired up to get back, or whatever happened. There were some fumbles early in the season. It looks like Damian Williams is ready to go. I don't think we saw Shady at all. I'm not sure. It could be wrong, but I don't think I recall seeing him, and that's okay. Darwin on that special teams play made a nice one. I think he understands he can run that back now, so that's good. Who else here? It wasn't just that Hop got one over on Ward. He was beating people consistently. Playing in that zone, I thought Hopkins was really showing just how good a receiver he is. He and Tyreek Hill are amongst the top 5, together with the big kid in New Orleans that I always space on his name. So I think that really showed up, and it did stress the safety level out a little bit. I thought Fuller put in some good snaps. I think he blew a couple things too. Didn't see Watts as much as we wanted or I wanted, but I thought Fenton put in some good snaps. And he's got an edge to him. I can see that he's a Veach guy because Veach guys are guys with attitude. They're guys that play with intensity, and so I can see that he's still a little challenged in long speed, but I think Fenton's giving you good effort. He's making plays. And again, another member of this rookie class that's putting out and making a contribution. That's a huge deal. So good for him. He's in my notes a couple of times. Who else here? That ridiculous taunting call. What Damien Williams did was the play was over. It had been whistled dead. The guy takes him to the ground and he puts the ball down. That's literally the opposite of taunting him. He just put it there and walked away. That's not taunting. It's a ridiculous call. If he gets fined for that, I would appeal that all day long. Kelce's hamstring had me concerned. I wasn't sure he was going to play in the second half, but I'm glad that he did, obviously. And I felt like he and Mahomes were really a two-man thing. I mean, the thumbnail for this video is because of what they did in the first half. Like, they were so in tune, the two of them. I feel like that's really a bonus. If he hadn't been able to play in the second half, I still think they would have been okay, but it wouldn't have been, quite as rolling. Let's see. The second run from Damien, the second touchdown run, I felt like he got the ball a little bit deep out of that. I can't remember if it was a shotgun formation or not, but I felt like he weaved pretty well on that particular TV run. And I really like seeing that because I really want to see what he can do from deeper in the pocket. There's so much attention being paid to the outside guys. And I think that this game also, because so many guys caught passes, I feel like this is going to widen what we're going to see from the defenses. And it's going to help the rest of the offense get going. So it opens everything up. And what that allows is when you get the ball deeper then out of a shotgun type situation, you have to be able to attack that in a draw, in a run up the middle when everybody's spread out paying attention to the deep threats on the outside. So you have to see him do that. And I definitely want to see that too. A couple other notes on Ward. One that there was one, he got confused. He did get his head turned around, but that's what caused him to stop, in my opinion. He kind of quit on that route and allowed Fuller to get loose. But then he made a nice play on hopping the end zone at the end. So, again, an up and down day for Ward, illustrated by a couple other things. Let's see. Tyrann Mathieu. I felt like he captained the secondary really well today. I also feel like he missed a couple of opportunities that I was a little surprised at. I knew he was pretty tuned up because this is his former team. And he knows all those guys, but I was a little disappointed that he didn't come up with one of those interceptions that he had a shot at. So nothing to complain about. I'm sure he feels the same way. And I liked his interaction with, who was it? I think it was Sorensen, actually, about being smart, about understanding your film. Use your head. That's what he keeps coming back to. So, at the end of the day, it's about, is he improving? Is he leading that group? Especially with Thornhill out, I felt like he did that. On the front, Frank Clark not only played well himself, he did look winded at times, I do have to say. The conditioning, I think, at this point is not something you're going to change. So I can't really complain about it, but I do feel like he did show a little bit of wind there. But that circle where he literally had to chase Watson around like 3 different times in order to get him, but he did. I thought that says a lot about your captain and his effort level. And I felt like despite when they had some plays get run on them and the Texans did move the ball some, I didn't feel like the front gave up at all. I felt like they were playing all the time. It was consistent. It wasn't always explosive, but it was consistent, and they didn't get worn down. We saw big plays from Pennell. We saw a couple big plays from Saunders. I even shouted him out once. I thought Naughty was strong and solid. We saw the NASCAR a little bit early with it was Frank, K-Pass, Ragland, and Suggs all rushing. I think that's something you're going to see going forward. I think they should. If they can get the Titans into a situation where it's truly a third and long and you're really not going to be looking at a Henry option. I think combating Tannehill, that's going to be something that we're going to see more of, and I think they should. I think that's something that could pay off for them. Let's see. Oh, that fourth downs. Another thing that the defense did well that maybe we couldn't have expected a week ago. I do feel like the short one in particular I felt was really nice, but to be able to have a team that's been run on during the season, and everyone's talking about this next matchup. We'll get into that tomorrow. But to hold on fourth down multiple times and defend your end zone, I thought that was great. It does come from the rotation. Next week's going to be a different animal. They're going to have to use all these guys again, and hopefully Chris Jones should be back. Now, I know a lot of you were upset about Chris Jones. A couple of you in particular, and I don't know if Terry's on or not, but he was pretty riled up. I don't know how Chris Jones got injured. I haven't heard confirmation one way or the other. At this point, it really doesn't matter to me. If it was a basketball thing, you can say that maybe that's a little bit, something they don't need to do or they should protect themselves against. But it's also something that they build camaraderie with. Those guys have been playing basketball in the locker room all year. I don't know how involved it is or what that kind of thing is, but it needs to be a little bit less active is my guess. And I did read something else where someone thought that he actually heard it in practice. And if so, then that's normal. That's fine. It is what it is. I was surprised that he couldn't go. Evidently, Chris Jones warmed up and didn't feel good enough, or the staff didn't feel good enough about his warm-up in order to let him play. So that is what it is. I expect him to play next week. Hopefully that some rest will do him well, and I think it will. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that only adds another layer because of what they're going to have to do to defend not only Derrick Henry, but to defend the pass game. I know that the defense of the Titans played really well yesterday. Not that the Texans played terrible, but they didn't play as well as the Titans defense did. So there's an uptick there, but it's also that they weren't playing the Chiefs offense. So there's comparisons left and right. But I think taking away from this game is that your team got punched in the face. The quarterback in particular bounced back. That brought the team with him, in my opinion, and they all came back charging. And that's a really positive sign because everybody can win every week now. It's not there are no cellar dwellers. Everybody's good. Everybody's got a way that they can crush you with one thing or another. It's about balance. It's about bouncing back. And it's about making adjustments. And I felt like the staff did that very well on both sides of the ball. Game balls. I gave several out on the podcast. You guys will hear that in a bit. But another question for all of you regulars. Last time I asked was last week, and the resounding, overwhelming response was that put all the Chiefs content on one channel. Make the other channel just about the beer. That's what I'm considering doing right now. If you're either in the chat or you're leaving comments after, let me know what you think. And I just want to get a bigger pulse for what's going on. I don't want to leave anybody stranded or feel like, that way I would have content on RGR football every single day, if not some 2 times a day. So that's something to consider too. So let me know what you guys feel about that. Other injuries. I don't know next week that Dorian Daniel plays unless there's an injury. I'm not sure Damien Wilson got hurt, but he didn't play as much down the stretch. So I'm not 100% how that's going to come out. But don't be surprised if Dorian Daniel doesn't play a whole lot next week because of the difference in the team that they're playing. Had that been a Ravens win last night and it was Lamar that they were looking at, then I do feel like Dorian Daniel would have played the same role to play that spy. And I think that worked out pretty well. Again, if Jones is back, then you have Jones, Suggs, and Clark. So even if you're showing 4 and you're really only sending 3 in the pass rush, those 3 are good enough to get it done. And then you have the spy holding back. So I like that that's there. So big takeaway, Andy Reid got it done when he could have allowed his team to shut down. I think a lot of that leadership came from Mahomes and Matthew in particular. But I know Clark was in there. I know Chris Jones was riling him up on the sideline too. So this was a team effort like, hey, we really stepped on it here. And that landmine threw off our whole first quarter. Let's go have a giant second quarter again like they did against the Raiders, another 28-point quarter. Impressive. And ride it out from there. I felt like they pushed through and they kept the hammer down later into this game. I was very glad to see that as well. So that's something that I think that's going to be big going forward. And just got an update on the Seahawks game. So Seahawks Packers are going. I guess we should go watch that, because that is going to be telling down the line as well. If you're not subbed, click the sub, the notification, leave your comment below, and leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Glad we got through it with the audio enhanced. I'm going to keep doing this. There's going to be more changes around the studios and that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for your time. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central, Arrowhead time. And we'll go through the Q&A. Hope you guys can all make it. I appreciate you making it tonight, and enjoy the rest of the evening. I will see you tomorrow.